Welcome back to Chokitable Media. How are you doing at this time? I am bringing to you the second video regarding Build to Last, the webinar, the one I brought the first part of it to you, the one I caught and I brought to you the last time. So I want you to listen to the panelists now, what they have to say about how to build to last, how to build your business to last. When you start, when you continue, how to build it so that at least it will outlive you. That's the way to say it. And you will enjoy the profit and the benefit of what you created. So I want you to listen to the panelists, everybody bringing their own opinion to the table so that at least we can learn from there. Let's keep watching. This is the second one. It's about 30 minutes as well. I will bring the last part of it also for you to watch. We are all watching together. We are all learning together. And I wish you to, all the success as well for you to start your own business. Let's listen to the panelists. Let's listen. Thank you for watching. This is Chokitable Media. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. Put on your notification button. God bless you as you do. See you next time. Bye for now.
All right. Are you excited? Yes, that's right. And we're just scratching the surface. So we're not going to waste any more time. What I'd love to be on stage with the wonderful minds that I see over here, I need to hand over the microphone to an accomplished professional who has moderated conversations that have sparked and built and, what can I say, done a lot of things exceptional in the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, join me and welcome the beautiful, the articulate, the special, the superstar, Sharon Ochono.
Thank you so much, Tola. When you were saying these things, I was wondering, is it me you're talking to? Good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon, everyone, once again. And thank you so much for taking our time to be part of this conversation. And to our esteemed keynote speaker, thank you for the wonderful points that you have raised regarding starting a business and building it to last. All right. From the last conversation, we established that some of us had started businesses at some point in our lives and stopped along the way. And given the theme of this business series, it says, build to last, profit with purpose, business continuity. So I want to engage the audience again. How many of us have started businesses because other people are going into that business without any purpose at all? I know I've been one of them, and I'm sure a lot of us are guilty of that. Come on, don't be shy. Indulge me. Are you saying that we have not started businesses because other people were doing it? Yes. Okay, thank you so much. Well, in the usual fashion, UBA have also invited esteemed guests to come and participate in this panel discussion. And we will be calling our panelists now to, start the conversation. So, I'm sure most of us must have heard about Happy Coffee. Right? Yes, you have heard about Happy Coffee. So she will be one of our panelists. And please, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Princess Adeyinka Takena.
Princess Adeyinka Takena is the founder of Happy Coffee and the convener of the Lagos Coffee Festival. She serves as an advisory member of Apple of All Nations in Nigeria and the UK. Princess Adeyinka currently is the first elected national president for Nigerian Women in Coffee. She's the author of African Coffee Creed for Women. She's also an alumni of the 2015 Tony Elumedu Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Princess Adeyinka Takena.
You're welcome. Now, the second person we'll be calling upon is someone we have all grown to watch on our screens. I'm sure we have heard about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. If you know Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, you know who is coming on stage right now. Ladies and gentlemen, keep the round of applause coming. Frank Adoho.
Frank Adoho is one of Nigeria's most celebrated show hosts and anchor. He's the famous Who Wants to Be a Millionaire TV show host and has anchored the show since 2004. He's also a cinematographer, Black Magic Design certified colorist, a leading interior design photographer in Nigeria, a producer, and a director. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the legendary Frankie Doho.
Where did you guys get that picture? I'm not that handsome.
Oh, really? Okay. Now, our next panelist is someone we all know. We call her Talkstar or Baby Girl for Life. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, keep the round of applause coming as we make welcome Toke Makinwa.
Toke Makinwa is a distinguished multimedia personality, actor, author, entrepreneur, and celebrated influencer, known for her dynamic presence in Africa's entertainment and creative industry. She's a brand ambassador for numerous brands. Her entrepreneurial spirit led her to launch her luxury brands, Toke Makinwa Luxury, a perfume and handbag line. She wrote the best-selling memo on becoming. She's also the founder of the Toke Makinwa Foundation and Empowerment Project. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Toke Makinwa.
Yes, thank you so much. Now, our last panelist will be joining us virtually. He's an industrialist, well-known in that field, and he goes by the name Dr. James Asare Ajay. Please, ladies and gentlemen, although he will not be coming to the stage, he will be participating virtually, but make a round of applause for him. You're welcome, Doctor.
Dr. James Asare Ajay is an industrialist and academic. He is the chief executive of Asate Group Limited. He is currently the Chancellor of Heritage Christian University College in Ghana, a key advocate for technical and vocational education. He serves as a board member of the Commission for Technical and Vocational Education and Training and a steering committee member of the Ghana Skills Development Fund. Please join me in welcoming the distinguished Dr. James Asare Ajay.
Thank you so much to the audience for being parts of this session, and thank you once again to the panelists. I feel like I've said thank you many times, right? Okay. So I just wanted to let the audience know that you can jot down your questions, pay attention, and at the end of the panel discussions, we'll take your questions as well, and also to the physical audience. So let me start with Tekena, Princess. Yes, as someone who has actually introduced a fresh perspective, right, in the culture of Nigeria, particularly in the coffee industry. What steps have you taken to maintain your business purpose and continuity in a building industry?
Thank you. First, I would like to thank the foundation. I would like to thank UBA, but I want to thank the Tony Dumeli Foundation first. Quick background story. I had moved back from Nigeria on a one-way ticket in 2009 as a young Nigerian student. I believe that after getting my education in America, a story that if I had to write, you'll be amazed. I was homeless, I was everything, but after I graduated with first class, I moved back to Nigeria. I wanted to be part of the nation building process. So I was waltzing on the streets of Instagram in 2015 when I came about the Tony Dumeli Foundation application, if there were Africans who had ideas that would transform the continent. And I filled the application, and I was happened to have been selected as the first 1,000 Africans to receive $5,000. Then it was ₦1 million, and that was in 2015. And we got a 3 months training out of the door. I was one of those businesses that started as an idea when I got selected at the foundation. So there was no happy coffee, it was just an idea. And I'm sitting here today to tell you that truly, in Africa, we can build lasting businesses. I am a perfect example of a business that started on the continent, and 10 years later, I'm still here, I'm still thriving. But for me as a business, one of the critical things that I have learned in this journey of 10 years building coffee, first, I don't know if you know that Nigeria grows coffee. How many of us know that Nigeria grows coffee? As a matter of fact, 22 states in Nigeria grow coffee, but I'm sure that all of you in this room, most of you in this room, drink only imported coffee. And the reason why is because we do not add value to our own coffee. We do not off-take coffee from Nigeria. So when I started this business, I had just a basic, maybe I call it a fantasy. I wanted Nigerians to have access to a fine cup of coffee. Like I said, at school in America, I couldn't afford the coffee there, but I was shocked that when I came back home, we were wasting the amount of coffee we had in the country, and that was how Happy Coffee started. And I can tell you that in the past 10 years, from 1 cup of coffee, we have gone ahead to make millions of naira from that 1 million naira that Mr. Lumelu invested in Happy Coffee as seed capital. But for us as a business, especially, and based on your question, I think for me as a business owner, the first thing I'm sure that most people can relate to me in this room is, you cannot be the villain in your own story. In every story, there's a hero and there's a villain. And I say this, that you cannot be the villain in your own story. And what does that mean? When you think about your brand and you think about you can't be that wicked founder. You can't be that wicked, if you think about that. There's some brands that you probably will never shop with again because of how the founder treated you. As a business owner, you cannot be the villain. You have to be the hero of your own story. Because at the end of the day, when you think coffee in Nigeria, and one of the beautiful privileges that I have now is whenever you think coffee, you actually think Princess or you think Happy Coffee.
I believe that deserves a round of applause. Thank you so much, Princess. You know, before the session started, I went to meet Princess and asked her to teach me how to make a perfect cup of coffee. Because I'm sure every one of us here drinks coffee, but we really do not know how to make a cup of coffee, and I needed some insights on that. But thank you so much for sharing your story. Now, my question goes to Frank, right?
Yes.
I mean, we grew up watching you in the media.
Yeah, another way.
I'm always going to emphasize that.
Yeah, another way to tell me I'm old. It's okay.
Okay, and now you're also active in the new media, right? In your view, how can businesses use new media to create narratives that enhance longevity and growth?
Okay, new media like social media, Twitter and all that. Yeah, okay. The thing is this, you know, when Twitter started, it was a platform for discussion and all that. And all of a sudden, I don't know where people came from, maybe from Facebook or I don't know. But they came with the intent to steal, destroy, and kill. So they came in. I think the problem was when they started filtering in, and of course these children didn't know how to engage in the discussion that is conflict-free. So, you know, they started bringing conflict. And you guys, the mature ones, you said, no, I'm a bigger person. You left and went back to the Facebook that they came from. So the problem is nature abhors a vacuum. So if you are leaving, there will be this hollow thing, hollow space, and that was occupied by all these people. And that's when disputes, conflicts, and World War III started to happen, and people. So we never optimized the use of that platform, you know. And that's just the thing. If I want something sold, or if I want to sell an idea, or if I have an event and everything, I put it on Twitter now, you know, because it reaches, it's far-reaching. So we can use the new media to propagate our products and services, our talent and everything. But the thing is, you know, why I kicked against the fact that people that can approach me in real life and insult me, I'm speaking Chelsea Football Club. Someone just comes from nowhere and starts insulting my mother, just from nowhere. So I was resenting this, building it up. I was, you know, just trying to control myself. For 5 years, I received insults. So it got to a point, that little thread that holds my sanity just cut. Mom, I said, all right, let's do it. Now, the thing I even do is that broadcasters like her and, you know, all broadcasters know how to do these things because they are wordsmiths. They study the art of communication. We all know how to do this, but none of them, they were like, I don't want to taint my brand. My own is, which brand, Seth? Which brand? So I started doing it. And ironically, you see, I don't react when someone doesn't, you know, accost me. I don't do that. But once you provoke me to that point, I will react. And I have now noticed that I've been reacting. People are calling me more for jobs. I'm booked throughout December. I don't know if it's a thing I should be happy about. it's just confusing to me because that is not my nature. I like, if everybody in entertainment, when you see all these celebrities and everything, I think I'm probably the only one that engages with a lot of people on Twitter and Instagram. So what I'm trying to say is that the new media, don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it. You should use that to sell your products and services and your talent. Someone met me and said, hey, I want you to become my mentor. I said, absolutely not. You know why? Not that I can't mentor. I mentor a lot of people. The way I did it was I had up to 50 mentors. Most of them didn't even know they were my mentors because I was studying them from afar. So the ones abroad, I studied Ryan Seacrest, I studied Jeremy Clarkson, James May, Richard Hammond from Top Gear. You see, while all these other broadcasters were sleeping, I was staying up and watching presenters. Why is he doing that? Why can't I stop watching this guy even if he's talking nonsense? So what's that thing? Then I'll say, oh, that's it. I'll imbibe it in my presentation. Then I go to, so I just watch, like she said, you have to study. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. So I studied all these people, got a melange of all their talents, all the things that I liked, added it to my character. Bob's your uncle. Everybody now says, Frank. When everybody says, oh, you are so fantastic, I'll be like, you don't know what I did. I'm like a compilation, the greatest hits of everybody that did presentation, including those ones in Nigeria. I just add all of them and I do it. Now, I now realize the importance of new media. I never used to take selfies before. I said, why? Why should I do that? Why? I'm not vain and everything, but now, see, I've told my manager, okay, look at him there, he's filming. I said, you better film this thing and let me put it out there because I understand the potential of using the new media to boost yourself, boost your brand, your ideas, and that will lead you to success ultimately.
Is that your final answer?
What?
Is that your final answer? You want to phone a friend?
Madam, you need money to say that.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So, talk here, or should I say talkster?
Both.
Okay. Well, we're aware that you have built a very strong personal brand by leveraging on the media, right? So how can you advise entrepreneurs to also use the media to drive sense of purpose and continuity in their businesses?
Thank you very much for that. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very honored to be, on this platform because she just asked a question, and my first answer is you gotta keep learning, and that's what this has done for me this afternoon. Just listening to BAP open the floor. I mean, I was like, I don't envy anyone who has to go after her.
I swear.
You know what I mean? Because she tore up the building, and she already sort of nitpicked a couple of things that I would share when I started out.
Well, I hope that wasn't my car. All right.
Well, okay, I think this one. When I started out, I wish I could sit here and say, oh, I had this clarity and purpose of what it is that, my brand was going to become. I didn't even know it was a brand. I was in banking as Auntie Bolani, as I always call her, I'll call her BAP. As she said, do not despise even those things and those early years and those jobs that you feel, why did I even have to do this? She talked about being at the UN. My days in banking, I've been one of the people in this room. I totally hated it. I thought, what am I doing here? And people around knew. It's so funny how you're always going to, be different. I remember doing NPR meetings. They'll just look at me. I've been in one of those. They would look at me and be like, what are you doing here? Because if it came down to bathing up to work, my TM Lewin shirt, my skirt, my makeup, the personal brand was already being built even before I knew that I was going to go into branding. I took it very seriously. And, to go and defend the months, I'm just looking at them like, help. I'm just a girl afterwards. And I had like a lot of my directors then say, you look like you belong on a runway. Banking is not for you. And they were right. But I'll tell you what banking did for me. Waking up as early as 5:30 to be at work, be at my desk at 6:30, and, to sign in, make sure that you are, we know how early banking starts. I never knew that I would, later on host one of the most important shows in the mornings in Lagos, which is the morning drive, which I did. Banking prepared me for that. Showing up, waking up early, being dedicated. I didn't know all of those things were attributed to building longevity in a business. Because no matter how great you are, if you don't show up, you will be forgotten. If your attitude is not right, as Princess said, no one is going to want to work with you. People oftentimes ask me, why are you hustling like you're trying to get a break? You are talking Makiwa. And I said, what does that mean? Eminem hustles like he's about to get the next record deal. The greats are people who don't sit down on yesterday's glory and think that because I've gotten through the door. So for me, when I started out, as I said to you, I'm going to be very honest here, I didn't have it drawn out. BAP had the purpose, and I'm so grateful that worked out for her. That wasn't my story. I just hated banking. My siblings would look at me and say, you don't like this job. Why don't you do what you're good at? When I was much younger, I was one of the people that started out at Cool FM, but it was just a summer job. Someone saw me somewhere and heard me speak at Muson Center and said, you have such a nice radio voice. And I thought, huh? A guy broke up with me when I was in uni because he said I sounded like a man, because I have a very raspy voice. So I thought, really? And it's like, yeah, do you want to, there's this teenage show, we're kickstarting it on radio, and it's about sex, drugs, rock and roll, just to advise teenagers. And I was like, me, I've always loved money because I love to look good. So I said, how much are they paying? I'll be there. And I went for the audition, and I met the late Tosin Bucknor and 3 other guys. All of them are late. I'm the only one still here. We kickstarted our radio careers on that show. Tosin went on to become area mama. While I was, thinking this radio thing won't work out for me, I took a hit. My family members finding out I was on the radio was like, who did you tell? I didn't even go back to quit my job. That was just it. I went to get a degree, and of course, I got a job at Zenith Bank, and I hated it, So I think for me, the brand builds itself on the anchors that I've mentioned here. The dedication that I learned from waking up in the morning, the showing up even when I don't know what it is, but I'm available to learn. You have to be teachable. You can't know it all. The day you know it all, as Auntie Bolani said, those people that will be hyping you, telling you, you're on your way out. Literally, you are. Leadership, I didn't even know that was what it was, but I just knew that I would love to ask. I believed in team building, and that's exactly the success story of the TM brand. I wish I could sit here and say I knew all the ideas. I was a radio girl. I started radio when radio presenters were heard and not seen. And I saw that vacuum, and I said, I'm going to change this. Why are they always heard and not seen? You know what I mean? These are the guys who keep you up at night, or when you're heartbroken, they make sure you sleep well and wake you up in the morning and keep you entertained as you're driving to work. These are the people when you're trying to get away from meetings in the car and there's traffic, you tune into a drive time show and you're totally entertained. A lot of people in here probably used to call radio stations back then, but they didn't know what they looked like. I worked with people like Ebele or Lisa. When I started out at Cool FM, Dari was the voice at night. And I was just an Ebele. And I would just listen to them and be like, I just want to be as cool as these guys are. And then I started my shot on the late night show as well at Rhythm. And I thought, what would I do? Exactly, learning from them. Dari's music selection, people talk about it till tomorrow. Ebele's voice, and just her delivery. And I added that to become a fantastic broadcaster. It was important for me to learn from people around me and see the vacuum, which is radio presenters are heard but not seen. And then I said, I'm going to change that. They started calling me MTN everywhere you go, because I was that girl that was everywhere. Marketing, networking. I didn't even know that was what it was. I just, would love to attend this event and see the people behind certain things and just to talk to them and see how, as a radio presenter, how can I be more? How can I do more? I didn't want to just be a radio presenter people will talk about and say, yeah, you listen to her, but you don't know what she looked like. So I would apply myself. I'll put myself out there. I would go to events. Half the first couple of years I started out in this industry, I worked for free. it really made me feel bad. And I promised myself that when I made it, nobody's ever going to work for me for free. Because I would hear things like, it's exposure, it's exposure. I did it because I wanted the exposure and I was hungry enough. And please don't get me wrong, don't despise that. They gave me a chance in the first place. When I started out, I knew the people that were competition, as you would call that. I remember one time I wanted to hire a manager. Sorry, I would wrap up now. And, but then I just thought I needed someone to manage this. I didn't know what it was. I just knew that there was this thing I was doing and, it was adding to something. And I wasn't satisfied with being just one thing. That also helped me. I just wanted to, as a presenter, at TV, YouTube, I hear about it, I read up about it, I explore it, I'm on that space. Social media, I'm doing it. And just to wrap up that question in terms of how I've been able to cross over, I remember meeting with this guy and saying, no, I need a manager because I know I'm onto something and I need the guideline. And he looked me in the face and said, look at the most famous radio presenter. Who is the person in your opinion? And back then, I'm very humble enough to admit, Tools was killing it. She was on radio and she was the queen of talk. And I'm like, yeah, Tools. And he goes, go and look at Tools. Go and look at what she's doing. Copy it and come back in a couple of years. That's strong because it wasn't just a personal meeting. Lynx was in that meeting and he said that to me in front of Lynx, by the way. And I think some other 3 people. He just said that to me and moved on. Like, I can't manage you. There's nothing to manage. But that was what I needed as few to say, okay, all right, okay. And I started working on myself and not just being enough. And about 2 years after, I got an email from this same guy saying, I'd like to meet with you. Yeah. And I met with him. Oh, you trust me. I met with him and I'm like, oh, all right, so what's going on? And he's like, oh, so, I really think you're amazing. You're really the most talked about person right now. What can we do together? I didn't hire him because I didn't think he believed in me when I wasn't who I was. And I didn't need that. So the last point is, surround yourself with people who are team builders. Longevity only comes from not being the yes man. You can't be the only person that takes all the decision on your team. It will crash. Be teachable. If you're not teachable, there's no longevity. You have to be aware of where you are and be honest with yourself, in my opinion. That's worked for me.
So much. Thank you so much, Sake. I believe the point you have raised also aligns with what Frank and Princess Ekena said, particularly in the area of team building, because you really cannot do it on your own, and you cannot also be a villain in your own story. So thank you so much for sharing that very insightful point. Now, my question goes to our virtual panelists. Hello, Doctor, are you there?
Yes,
Hello,
I'm here,
Dr.
Sharon.
Once again. Okay.
Hello.
All right. So my question to you, you're an industrialist, right, with proven track records in your field. Given the global challenges in supply chain management, because I'm aware that being an industrialist, you also have to take a lot of consideration in your supply chain. So what would you say, what insights can you share on fostering local partnerships to build a resilient and purpose-aligned business model?
Thank you, Sharon. Good afternoon, especially our friends in Nigeria and also across Africa. Sharon, let me begin by saying that sometimes it becomes a bit difficult to understand that if you've just had all the qualifications, you've done all the learning, you've worked at a higher corporate level, you want to find out whether you can really come down low, to start a small or a micro business. And that was what I did. My company, Asatel Group, started as a micro business. And let me go back a little bit so that I can then really respond to your question, because it's very relevant to lay the foundation. So after having worked at very high level, coming to the level of a chief executive of other businesses, I decided to really start very small in manufacturing. And you would agree with me that in Africa in particular, what we need is the kind of businesses that will create the jobs, the mass jobs, for our people. So I leveraged on my experiences in the past. I've worked in manufacturing over 3 decades, and for that matter, I leveraged on that sort of experiences and the capacity to set up this micro business in the household utensils arena. To be honest, it becomes very difficult when you are starting micro business.
Thank you for watching. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing so you won't miss out any of our latest video.